We'll cover how to connect to your Nero Google Cloud project via the command line. Before we get started, let's remember a few key features. On Nero GCP, you get access to what you have enabled. This can be storage resources like buckets, it can be database resources such as BigQuery, or it can be compute resources like a compute engine. So before we go any further, let's make sure that we're connected to the Stanford Virtual Private Network, or Stanford Vpn. Information on how to install the VPN client is available on UIT's website. So let's go ahead and click on the VPN icon. Let's make sure that this says su-vpn.stanford.edu, and let's click on Connect. You'll see under the group that there are a few options available. Make sure that you select an option that says full traffic, either cardinal key full traffic if you have cardinal key, or full traffic non-split tunnel. This is particularly important for connecting to Nero Google Cloud Project, as you may get access errors if you haven't selected any of these two options. Next to the username, enter your SUNET ID, and next to password, enter your SUNET ID password. Click OK, prompt to do a push. Go ahead and prove that on your mobile device. And you'll see a banner confirming that we're successfully connected to the Stanford VPN. So actually, to access Google Cloud resources via the command line, we need to do a little bit of installation before. There are specific Google Cloud tools and libraries called Cloud SDK that allows us to interact with Google Cloud products and services. Specifically, they enable us to authenticate and access our Nero Google Cloud Project resources via the command line. So go ahead and open a browser and look into the description of this video and click on the link that's provided. This is enabling us to install Google Cloud SDK into our local machine. Here we're using the Google Cloud SDK installer, and you see a few options on this page. Pick the one that's relevant to your operating system, and then go ahead and open a command window and follow the instructions. So here I'm going to copy this command. I already have this installed on my machine, but I'm going to pretend that I don't. And I'm going to press on enter. This is going to ask to confirm my directory. I say yes. Do I want to remove prior installation before installing this one? So I say yes. This is going to take a minute. And we're seeing all of Cloud SDK libraries being installed. So sure, let's say yes. So here we get an actual list of all the specific Cloud SDK components that are going to be available. And you can see how via the command line, we're going to be able to access BigQuery, storage resources, etc. So this takes a minute. Let's go ahead and say yes. Let's leave blank. And here we go. So now we're going to restart the shell. So I'm just going to copy the sample code. This has restarted. And now that the Cloud SDK resources are installed, we can actually initiate a connection to our Nero Google Cloud project. So let's go ahead and type that third command. This is going to initialize our connection. to a specific Nero Google Cloud project. So I already have a connection set up. I'm going to go ahead and create a new one to demonstrate what you would experience the first time you connect. So I'm entering to here. I'm going to enter a name, so I'm just going to say training. And this now asks me to select an account with which I want to connect. It's important that you select a Stanford account that's associated to your Nero Google Cloud project. This is usually your Stanford ID, followed by @stanford.edu. I get a list of all the projects that I am able to connect. You are probably going to get a much smaller list. In my case, I can go ahead and look at the full list and identify that the project that I want to connect to is number 75. So I go ahead and enter that number. And I can configure the compute region and zone. I say yes. And I want this to be US West 1. So again, I'm not seeing the full list here. Oh, actually I am. So let's go ahead and enter 13. And there we go. I have initialized my connection to a specific Google Cloud project using my specific Stanford account. To confirm that everything looks good, I can do Gcloud config list. And here I'll be able to see which region my project is in, which account this is tied to, and which project I am actually connecting to. When you have several Nero Google Cloud projects, you may need to reinitialize your connection to ensure that you're connected to the right project when accessing the command line. Another way to authenticate and to enable Cloud SDK to access Google Cloud resources, let's say after you've, for instance, turned off your computer, is to do Gcloud auth login. And this would simply take me to a new page, which I'm bringing here. And again, confirming to use the right account and letting Google Cloud SDK access my Google Cloud resources. I get a confirmation message that I have successfully authenticated. And when I go back to the terminal line, it does give me a confirmation that I am currently logged in with this account and that my project is this. If you don't want to go through the entire configuration but do want to change the actual project that you're connected to, you can simply enter Gcloud config set project and then enter the actual project ID. So in my case, it would be srcc Nero with M data. And then I get a confirmation message saying that the property has been updated. Okay, so now that we've successfully connected to our Nero Google Cloud project, we're actually able to list some of the resources available in this Google Cloud project. So let's say I want to list buckets. I could use the gsutil command, which is a popular Cloud SDK command to list resources and copy data, etc. We'll cover that in other tutorials, but for now I can do gsutil ls to list the buckets that are available in that specific Google Cloud project. So here I see 3 buckets, and I'm also able to list BigQuery datasets that are also hosted on that project. So I can do bqls, and this actually shows me all the datasets that I have. In order to connect to specific compute engine resources via your Nero Google Cloud project, you may have enabled an SSH connection, and I may have notified us SRCC that this is how you'd like to connect. In that case, you would be able to enter SSH, your SUNET ID, at the SUNET of your PI, so ruthm.compute.stanford.edu. I actually do not have SSH enabled for that specific project, so my command would not work. But if you check our other videos on how to connect to Nero on-premise, the connection experience would be very similar in that you would be prompted to enter your Sunet ID password, confirm it, do a push, and then you'll land on the login node, except that this login node would be on your Nero Google Cloud project.